back to the Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Fantom, and today we will be doing an unboxing and review of Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition, Transformers Devastation, More Than Meets the Eye Collection, Sideswipe. This has been a particular shelf warmer for the last few months at my local Target, and they finally deigned to put him on clearance. So this was $13.99, I think, and I probably wouldn't pay any more than that for this. I do already have several Sideswipe figures in my collection, including the War for Cybertron Siege Sideswipe, which kind of just transforms into that Cybertronian form sports car, not the actual fake Lamborghini. What is it? Contoc? Contouche? Contoc? Contouche? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Suffice to say, they don't have the license for that particular model of car anymore, so this just looks similar. In the same way that Sunstreaker looks similar, but is not. For copyright and liability reasons, it is not a Lamborghini. But in any case, I finally saw him on clearance. I've been waiting for him to go on clearance because even though I don't have a Earth mode Sideswipe figure from the War for Cybertron line, or Earthrise, or Kingdom, or any of the variations that they have made, because I think they also made a Generation 2 Decode Sideswipe from the Earth mode figure for some Amazon or Target exclusive pack that, I mean, obviously I did not buy, as I was not buying Transformers really heavily at that particular moment in time. I have heard that this particular figure has the Red Alert head as opposed to the Sideswipe head. Honestly, I myself really wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two heads. I mean, they were essentially the exact same toy in G1, just painted differently. So I don't know what the hullabaloo is in the fandom for why it's so bad that this particular figure has a Red Alert head. But, I mean, let's take a look at it and see exactly whether that's warranted, shall we? So looking at the box, we have a windowed box, and we see the figure inside, and we've got this very nice, once again, decoed in black, gray, and red. I do not know why they chose those particular colors for that. And just like Wheeljack, it just continues on one side, and it's repeated on the other. There is nothing of any great importance on the top. We have Sideswipe here in a screen cap from the game, presumably the character/mission select menu. It simply says, Sideswipe bravely battles Megatron in an attempt to intercept the takeover of the Proud Star. Okay. This figure is a nice rendering of the figure, and he does have his shoulder-mounted cannon that his original toy had, and that he had in the original G1 cartoon, and he also comes with a secondary blaster, just like Wheeljack. I'm not sure if this is the one that he actually carries in the game or not, or whether it's just styled that way. Who knows? Let's find out. So yes, in lieu of that, let's find out. Let's open this up and see what it looks like in person. Shall we? Alright, so out of the box you have the figure itself, the package containing these 3 parts, the new gun, and then his shoulder-mounted rocket cannon gun, and instructions. So, looking at the figure just right out of the box, it seems like he's pretty nice. He does have the wide chest that I think Sideswipe should have. The original toy had it. It was kind of ungainly. I like that look. It makes him look kind of like a Rob Liefeld superhero at the moment, but I appreciate the fact that they did that. He does really look like that. His head is kind of hidden by the flap of the top of this, his hood flap. His feet also his knees have a tendency to also allow his legs to go backwards a little bit, so we can do the weird pose. This is not flattering. This is not flattering at all. Okay, so we have that. So let's put I'm gonna assume that we put the cartridge into the gun. Do we put the cartridge? Yes, we do put the cartridge in the gun. Do we? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Why does it seem like that's not the right side, though? Okay, well, in any case, this goes into his... Oh, okay, I guess it does need to be the opposite way. That's kind of confusing. This missile piece does not really peg into the blaster. It just kind of presses into it. But it does use the exact same feature as Wheeljack, where it has a little tab that goes into a tab that goes into the... Anyway. And then he has his gun. He's right-handed, so just that. His feet are fairly good. He does have an ankle tilt for whatever good that really does you. It's not great, but it's nice that they included that. He has a normal bicep curl, which because of his enormous chest, he actually can put his fist against his waist. I don't see the problem. I mean, his head is right there. It looks like Sideswipe. It does, right? It does look like Sideswipe. Hold on a second. Let me go grab a Red Alert figure. It's very odd. I can't seem to find the War for Cybertron Red Alert figure. I know that I have like 3 of them, I think, because they were on clearance at Walgreens and I picked them up. I can't find any of them. That's kind of weird. Doesn't matter. I did, however, find War for Cybertron Siege Sideswipe, which looks to be exactly the same, really. I mean, let's just take a look at his head. Okay, I kind of see what they're talking about. He doesn't have the horns. He doesn't have the horns like Sideswipe. Sideswipe has more pronounced horns. So I kind of see what they're talking about. Here is the Classics Red Alert figure, and this is his head. But to my knowledge, this is also not Red Alert's head. This is just Sideswipe's head. They just repainted the entire body as Red Alert, but it is actually Sideswipe. So that's not really conclusive. So here is the War for Cybertron Siege Sideswipe figure, which pretty much looks exactly the same. I mean, you can tell it's the exact same mold. I do appreciate the fact that the Siege one, the back panels of the side of his car actually fold up a little cleaner than these. These just kind of stick out here. Yeah, they just stick out a little further than these. But for the most part, they're identical. There's really no difference other than the fact that this one's hood goes down a little further so that he doesn't have something in front of his head. But yeah, you can see the difference in the heads. This one clearly has more defined horns than this one. So, also, this is kind of a mottled shampoo white, whereas this is a much cleaner white. And there are a little bit differing paint apps, like there's white here instead of nothing. One key thing that I do notice that I transformed him is that the missile on this one has a whole backing, whereas this one does not. This one has a actual 5mm peg and a handle, and this one has neither of those things. So that's a fairly large difference, actually. But for the most part, they are exactly the same figure. They stand the same. They've got the exact same feet. They've got the exact same arms. It's really just very minor retooling on the figure to make it Earth as opposed to Cybertronian. And really that just comes down to the hood of his car mode. I actually like this one a lot more. It looks much more like his animation model. I don't know if this is discolored just from age. Maybe I put it in the sun. No, I think that is just its color. Anyway, so that's the comparison there. No, this is a pretty good figure, quite honestly. He has a universal hinge for his shoulder, which is very nice. He does not have a full bicep curl because it's just a standard hinge there. His feet have a very nice knee joint, which actually goes, as I said, forward a little bit because of the transformation. He does have ankle tilts. He's got a full range of motion, which makes sense considering I feel like Siege was like the first huge line in Transformers that started the trend of having really posable figures. Like having universal posability. So you can two-fist it Generation 2 style, if you prefer. His waist tilt is not actually at his waist, it's at his crotch. And that's simply because it's a vestige of the transformation sequence. But yeah, I mean, all told, I actually really like this figure. The chest is a little weird, but no more or less weird than anything else, really. He seems very wide, but I don't think that takes anything away from him. And I really don't mind the Red Alert head. I don't really like go out of my way thinking about Sideswipe as having enormous horns, right? I mean, am I wrong in that? Am I wrong in that assumption? In any case, it's a really nice figure. It feels very solid. I mean, they both do. There's no difference in the heft of them. It's really just a retool and a recolor, really. But that makes sense because the More Than Meets the Eye collection, which is a Target exclusive line or subline of Studio Series, are all just repaints. They're all just minor repaints in order to make them more true to the movie coloration, in the case of the More Than Meets the Eye Hot Rod, or making them more true to how they appeared in Transformers Devastation. So all told, this is a pretty good representation. I don't really recall playing a lot as Sideswipe. I don't really believe that I liked playing as Sideswipe in Transformers Devastation. I played Wheeljack and Bumblebee and Optimus a lot more. But that might just be my personal preference. I have no problem with Sideswipe as a character. I think he's very interesting. And if anything, this really just reminds me of what he looks like and how he's portrayed in the 2019 IDW continuity. He was just part of Iacon security forces. He was under Springer. He has run-ins with the Rise and with the Ascenticons. But this matches the toy, which makes sense because IDW 2019 was all about using the current at the time, or for Cybertron, Siege designs, which is why their design for Optimus in that series was based on the un-super mode Galaxy Optimus from that particular toy line, not the Voyager class Optimus that had already come out at that time. They chose the super broad, chunky version of Optimus with the beveled chest that was Galaxy Force. But no, I can't say that I'm dissatisfied with this. I actually really like it. I think the colors pop a lot better than the Siege version. I like the addition of this new not chrome, but silverish gun. And he looks ready to be brash and talk trash against Decepticons. So this works for me on pretty much all levels. I just wish this was slightly lower so that his head wasn't lost in the hood of his car. See, head on, it's just like his entire bottom mouth and chin disappeared. You kind of have to look above to see his actual face. But that's a minor quibble. That's a very minor quibble. So we transform him and see what the alt mode looks like. So here is Sideswipe in his alt mode. It looks very nice.
Butterfingers?
I know that with Wheeljack there was a pronounced difference between how wheeljack for this Studio Series Gamer Edition was painted as opposed to the Autobots Stand United / Studio Series 86 version of the figure. I do not know the difference between this Sideswipe and the Autobots Stand United potential Studio Series 86 Sideswipe. I'm going to assume there isn't any, in much the same way that the Autobots Stand United package wheeljack is just Studio Series 86 wheeljack. It's just a way for them to have come out with something really premium, really special for the fans that people paid a premium for, that everyone thought, oh, they're never going to come out with this. And then, you know, lo and behold, 2-3 years later, now we get individual releases of them. It's like the Age of the Primes Prime Universe Cliff Jumper that was originally part of the huge, well, not huge, but 4-pack Target multi-pack that included Cyberverse Time. They just released that figure individually as part of Age of the Primes because, you know, Hasbro's never going to let a good mold go to waste. And that was actually an exceptionally good mold. I mean, as I said in that video, I was really impressed with that Cliff Jumper figure, and I thought that was going to be my least favorite figure in the box. But getting back to Sideswipe, it's clean. I like it. I don't like the fact that some of this red is a little translucent. You can see the color of the mechanisms, or rather the hinges below. But, I mean, I'm not going to, that's not a huge issue. I do like the fact that these panels folded down in his robot mode. It's just a minor thing, but it's nice to see that level of detail. Like Wheeljack, he rolls really well, and he has 2 weapons. So now he has both his shoulder-mounted or take-apart. This is really bothering me, that this is not a singular piece, or that it is not exactly like the original Siege version. So you could put that on top too, because he has a 5mm peg on the top. I guess I would prefer to keep it on the side because it keeps that sleek look. And you're gonna go riding down a highway and then, you know, fire this missile into oncoming traffic. You know, pull a bone crusher. But no, I've got nothing really to say about this. It's very nice, and just like Wheeljack, it's very, very narrow. It is a very thin alt mode, which is very surprising, actually. I mean, comparing it to the Siege line, which is slightly different. I mean, they really just slightly changed this part of the leg so that these are up and these are recessed. I don't know how you would go about doing that in the mold, but I'm going to assume it was an easy fix. Everything else just seems to be different molding. This has the translucent plastic, but it's not in any place that would cause an issue with breakage. And I mean, they did a good job creating a Cybertronian Earth mode, the Cybertronian mode, alt mode, that kind of approximated his Lamborghini mode. So props to them for that. I actually really liked the Sideswipe figure when I first picked it up, and their profile is extraordinarily similar. This also has a very similar profile to Hot Rod, so it's nice to see some kind of consistency, almost like biological alt mode comparison. It's like maybe there's just a predisposition in Cybertronian alt modes to have a vehicle that kind of looks like that. I don't know. No, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very, very sleek. It's very compact. It feels a little heavier than Wheeljack, actually. No, they're the same. They're the same way. They're the same way. In any case, for $13.99 at Target, if you go to a Target, if you like Sideswipe, if you like this mold, if you want to kit bash it into something else, $13.99 is a steal for a deluxe class figure, especially since this one was shelf warming at $27.99 for the last, 4 months? So finally someone wised up and said, you know, got a lot of these peg warmers here, let's get rid of them. And so they did. Consequently, they are also doing that with Scourge. The More Than Meets the Eye Scourge reissue, which has absolutely no paint app difference and absolutely no mold difference. That is also on clearance for like $5 off, $6 off. He's still over 20, but certainly not 42 like he was before, or even more. I don't even remember what he was initially. But it's worth checking out your targets, not only to look for the Insecticon 3-pack and Starscream, but also to look for clearance spots, because they're going to need to clear the shelves. So here we are at the end, and we are left with an exceptionally good version of this iconic character. Yeah, I mean, are you really going to raise a huge stink over head horns? Really? It doesn't really matter. This is a very nice figure, and it's on clearance. So if you like Sideswipe, go and buy it, because it is much cheaper now than it was before. I'd say it's well worth the clearance price. I mean, $13.99 is a tremendous price for anything, but it's very nice to see, to be able to get a very nice version of a nice G1 character for such a cheap price. If you're meaning to bulk out your G1 cast of characters, the colors pop, it's really nice, it's very vibrant, and I like the addition of the additional gun. It's just like, okay, fine, he could have just had his normal rocket launcher, but he actually came with another gun, which is really nice. So yeah, I've got nothing really bad to say about this. This was a really good deal, and it's a really nice toy. Feels heavy. It's worth a deluxe class price. I don't know if it would be worth full deluxe class price right now at the moment, but it's a nice deluxe class figure. It's chug scale, and you can get it on clearance at Target right now for $13.99. Well, thank you very much for joining me today on The Shelves Have Eyes for this second in our round of Transformers Devastation More Than Meets the Eye collection Transformers. I think this is the last one I have for Transformers Devastation. I already did Optimus, I already did Bumblebee, I already did Wheeljack, now I've done Sideswipe. I don't think they're coming out with anything else. Oh, they did the Auto Trooper and the Decepticon drones, which was a Target exclusive pack, and I'm not going to buy that because it was just a Seeker recolor and a Battle Charger recolor. And I don't care enough about the Transformers Devastation Gamer Edition line to really go and search out that for the prices on the secondary market. Sideswipe and Wheeljack were nice because they were nice redecos of existing figures. I liked both of the figures. They have full articulation. I don't need anything else really in this. And these also match the G1 appearances, so that's just a bonus in my mind. But yes, I will be continuing on with the rest of the mountains of boxed Transformers that I have to unpack. I've still got to start doing the 13, which isn't necessarily like a bad thing. I feel like I keep saying I'm going to start the 13, and then I never do. Maybe I should stop saying that. Or maybe I should start the HasLab. I did finally get my Leo Kaiser, and I do have Victory Saber, and I do have Thesaurus. Could do that. Unicron's a long time. I don't even know how I would film the Unicron video. Unicron has just been sitting in its package. I just can't open it. I didn't have a big enough place to open it before, but even now, I'm not sure it would fit here. I'd have to attach him to the ceiling. And I'm not really sure I want to do a 45-minute long transformation video. In any case, some more stuff will be coming in any case. So if you did like this content and you would like to see more of it, please consider liking this video, commenting on it maybe, and subscribing to the channel so you know when the next video drops. If you have any particular Transformer you would like me to do a review of or a comparison for, leave a comment. I'll see if I have it, because I have a lot of Transformers and I've got a lot of different versions of Transformers. So if you have a particular character you'd like me to highlight, let me know, and I'll see if I can cobble together something from what I've got in the collection. Assuming that what I have is complete too, because like some of my older ones, I don't know what all the accessories are. I really need to go onto TF Wiki and figure out what I have. I've got a whole bin of nothing but missiles and a whole bin of nothing but guns that have no match. They were just at the bottom of a box, and I can't tell what figures they go to. But in any case, thank you very much for putting up with my nonsense rambling, and I hope that this was in some way informative to you in terms of whether you want to buy it or whether you will consider buying it. But in any case, let me know in the comments if you have any other things to say about this very strange repaint. But until next time, I've been Fantom. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Have a good night, y'all.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise. Transformers, when the battle is through, only the strong will survive. Till all I want, unknown soul.